All right, good afternoon once again, and you're welcome to the program. So today on Good Afternoon Ghana, we'll be dealing with two issues. We'll go to the courts and take you through the journey of Oliver Baka-Vomowo and where we are today. Lots of you who were in support of the young lawyer are happy because he's now being granted bail. We'll have Elvis and my colleague in court who will brief us on what has happened for us to understand from the journey, maybe the phase of his arrest, and then we'll go through the phase of him being in custody, and then finally we have moved from one phase to another phase of him being granted bail, which two shorties. We'll talk about it later. And then later on, of course, on the table is fuel prices. There are predictions of 10 cities, there are predictions of 11 cities at the pumps. As it stands now, we're seeing 8 cities, 7 cities, 8 point something cities. We'll give you a breakdown of how some of the, pumps figures are looking like, or the prices are looking like, so that you also take note. We know that drivers are threatening to go on strike, as I've always been saying. Let's see if they will also do that. We'll have the guests to talk about it. Duncan Amwa will join us, Emmanuel Cherry, and then also Samuel Amegaibo will also join us. We'll look into the issues of, okay, so they are the men displayed on your screen. So Elvis Ando is a broadcast journalist, my colleague here at Metro TV, will take us through Vomowo's development. And then Duncan Amwa, also Executive Secretary at Chamber of Petroleum of Consumers, will talk to us. Emmanuel Cherry is a Chief Executive Officer of Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry. You know that cement prices have gone up, and how is this going to affect their business? Also, Samuel Amegaibo is Executive Secretary, Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, also talking about, cement and of also possibility of, clinker production itself in the country. Is that possible? Can we do that? What do we go, or where do we go from here? This is Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Ania Fampofu. We'll go for a break. We'll come back, and then we'll get into the issue. All right, you're welcome back to Good Afternoon Ghana, and I am Ania Fampofu. So my colleague Elvis Ando has joined me in the studio, and like I said, he has been the one, manning the courts on behalf of Metro TV, and he will give us up to the minute what has happened, especially with Oliver Baka-Vomowo. Before that, let's update you on what's happening with our World Cup qualifiers. And you know that Ghana has its playoffs coming up, and we're supposed to be playing in a couple of days with Nigeria. And, well, I have some displaying pictures on my screens. Okay. So this is the World Cup qualifiers that we have coming up. We have to clash with Nigerians. Let's see who goes through. And you know that on the table, it has been the Cape Coast Sports Stadium that's been scheduled for us to have that match played there. On Good Afternoon Ghana, we've discussed this issue at length, where we had the problem with, of course, the selected team that's supposed to be playing or representing Ghana not released by GFA yet, for reasons best known to themselves, or for saying that, well, they want it to be a surprise for the Nigerian team. Whether that's it's a splendid plan or not, I cannot really conclude on that, but that's what, for now, we have to deal with. The second issue has to do with the, that stadium that we're supposed to be playing, and, well, there were issues that were raised with the Cape Coast Sports Stadium, and then we had also some CAF officials say that they may have to move the match if we don't do anything about the stadium. The update for that is that it has been moved to the Baba Yara Sports Stadium in Kumasi. So expect that the playoffs that we're going to be having, Ghana versus Nigeria World Cup qualifiers, is going to take place in Baba Yara Sports Stadium. If you're in Ghana and you want to watch, please don't make your way to Cape Coast. Make your way to the Ashanti region, Kumasi, to be precise, and specifically the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Elvis, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Annie.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
How are you? We've been sleeping. No, I won't say you, because we've been sleeping with you in the courts.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had to put it right. We've been sleeping with you. in the courts.
Yes, I think it's right that way.
Yes, and with Oliver Baka-Vomawa, except that he's been in
Police custody.
alone. He's been sleeping alone. But finally, so we've gotten to another phase of his case.
Yes, exactly.
That he's been granted bail with 2 shorties. But take us through the journey of when he was arrested and then where he had to call a court, a kangaroo court. I mean, that was an interesting, period of his time.
Exactly. I would say I knew the kangaroo thing would come out.
Yes,
it would definitely come out. But let's look at what prompted his arrest. Baka-Vomawa was arrested on the 12th of February this year. When he arrived at the Kotoka International Airport, he was picked up by the Tema Regional Police Command, and then they sent him to Ashaiman. So, weekends, courts don't sit. So he had to be with the police until Monday, that was 14th, when he had to come to court. But what actually led to his arrest was a comment he made on his social media handle. That is, he said that if this e-levy is passed, after this cake, I would like to say "pain" over here because he used a certain word which I can't use back. The B word, let me put it that way.
When is it a B word? What do you mean? Just say it.
Oh, okay. So let me quote him verbatim on what he said.
I mean, for the purposes of the program.
Exactly.
Yes, and for people to appreciate it.
He said, if this e-levy is passed after this cake bullshit, I would do a coup myself, useless army. So this was what he said, and the state found this very threatening because saying that you stage a coup, then automatically you are not going to give a good government, or you are going to distract activities of the government. So they picked him up. Now, when they picked him up, he was sent to the Ashaman police station, where he was there until Monday, and then on Monday he appeared before the Ashaman District Court, which is being presided over during that time by Eleanor Barnes Botry. So at his first appearance, he was pleading that he will be given his personal liberty. That is, he wanted the court to grant bail. But the court said, no, I can't grant you bail because my authority as a court, a district court, do not grant me that. So a higher court is what can grant you. Which
we had the controversy of, okay, so if the court cannot grant bail, why do we take the bail case to that court?
Exactly.
Hoping that we can get it on there.
So the court told him to file a bail application in any of the high court. But then, because police wanted to do more investigations, the case was adjourned to February 28th. Now, February 28th, then he appeared again in court, and this time he appeared not so comfortable because he realized he has been detained for long to him. So he came to court looking very disturbed and also trying to talk back at every instance or at every given opportunity that he gets. So at a point in time, he shouted in court that the bench has lost its glory. The bench has lost its glory. That means he is trying to say that the court cannot be trusted as a place of giving fair trial to
that
any
moment
person.
When he actually shouted that way, that the court has lost its glory, what was the body language of the judge?
Okay, so the judge, Eleanor Barnes Botry, was not so happy. She appears to look very disturbed because you are an accused person.
An accused person.
You can
You're
only
supposed to be taking a calm position and composure.
Yes, so Eleanor Barnes Botry was like, okay, fine, let me speak. I am the one here. You are to listen to me. You talk when I order you or I direct you to talk. But Vomawa did not feel so comfortable. He appears to be the one who wants to show that, yes, I am there for my people. I'm fighting a cause which is fix the country, the laws must be fixed, and everything that there is with the law must be done. So it was at that moment when
he kept quiet.
He kept quiet for a while. Then he shouted, "This is a kangaroo court."
Okay.
So
that's what led to the kangaroo comment.
Yes, that was what led to a kangaroo comment. Now, when you say a court is a kangaroo court, it means a lot. In this case, when you say a court is a kangaroo court, that means the court is just posing as, let me say, a white elephant pretending to be there, but it's not there.
But it really can't bite.
Yes, like a dog that cannot bite.
Yeah, let's go for a bite from one of the lawyers of the Fix the Country convener, and then we'll come back. We'll give you about 2 or 3 bites. As and when it's ready, we'll give it to you. But let's go for one of the lawyers, along this case when it was traveling.
In a democratic republic, that the accused person is innocent until proven guilty, and that is entitled to bail with conditions, and that is what the court did. So justice has been well served.
And I know, what should we expect from now?
Nothing. What do you expect? Everything is in the ball of the prosecution. When they are ready for trial, we'll be ready for them.
Honestly, I'm quite surprised, but I'm happy, of course, that he's been granted bail. But again, we need to remember that we might have won the battle, but we haven't won the war. Until they drop all charges, it's still an ongoing case. So we need to still be vigilant and still pay attention. It's not over yet.
What was the strategy going forward?
As in, what do you mean? What's the
I mean, for
so
you.
of course, we're fighting this case. We've got lawyers. We're still going to do that. We've always used the courts. We've always used legal means, and we're going to continue to do that, as you've seen today.
Arrested. On the 11th of February, granted bail on the 26th. Over a month, in jail. Now, if he walks out, are there any measures being put in place to ensure that he is well and ready for, like you said, the battle ahead?
Definitely. Oliver, he knew when he was coming into the country, he kind of had an inkling that he would be arrested anyway. He was very much aware that this is a possibility, so he was quite prepared. And even them remanding him, he's using his personal case to expose the injustices within the criminal justice system. Because, yeah, we're here talking about Oliver, but you need to remember that how many other people are out there who go to court, are taken to the wrong courts, don't have access to lawyers, can't be taken to the high court to get bail. There's people on remand in Ghana for over 20 years because the police keep tossing them about.
Right, so one of the conveners for Fix the Country, and apologies for that video, was an amateur video there because everybody was just struggling to get a bite from lawyer Akutampa, who earlier on spoke before Felicity actually spoke. But we still have some more videos from the supporters of Fix the Country, or some of the, I'll say the supporters of Fix the Country group. So let's go for that.
That's over the case today. Like you heard, he said he has gathered, he's really certain with whatever judgment he wants to rule out there. We are just waiting for it, but all we are pleading is that let the rule of law work. If every single Ghanaian deserves a bill when it hits this point, at least Oliver is not different from it. He's supposed to be granted bail just like any other citizen. The country has to protect its citizens and not to scare them. Okay, so we are just hoping that the judge on Wednesday, as they've adjourned the case, will come out and give his ruling. And we are hoping that Oliver will be granted bail so that the police can continue with whatever investigations due to make sure that they come out with a conclusion of this case. That is all we are hoping. This happened in 1954, okay, when Nkrumah rose up fighting for this country. Okay, so it has happened. It's not only Nkrumah, Thomas Sankara, Samula Marcels, Patrick Smulumba. History is just repeating itself. Okay, when you rise up in your country to fight.
Raphael Williams there, who is a member of the Fix the Country movement. Elvis, with your period in court and all this very, I would say, daring comments made by Vomowo, did he look and appear like an inspiration to the youth?
Well, Vomowo has always been an inspiration to the youth. Looking at the numbers that came from his movement, they thronged the court premises. Large numbers came there. So anytime he appears in court, he gives them some sort of morale. So
we get about 100, 200, 300, 500,000?
His first appearance, he got about 200. Second appearance, it added up to 300. Then even today in court, the numbers were so large, and I could see
the whole crowd.
A whole crowd, and even some journalists rooting for him. So Vomowo was, or I would say, is an inspiration to most of the youth. Because anytime he appears, even though he was not feeling too well on Monday when he appeared, he still looked
But
very
he
strong.
insisted that he was okay.
He insisted he was okay and he's ready for trial. But Vomawo looks, every day you see him very strong, singing Arise Ghana Youth for your
Right.
country, and also charging the youth. Today he was shouting freedom at last. You could, the man is having some sort of
I seem
energy.
to have goosebumps. I don't know what's happening in the court, but I'm having goosebumps, unfortunately. Wow.
The man appears very energetic and very, very influential.
Interesting. So that's when the bail was granted.
Yes.
Then he just started screaming freedom.
So the police had to push him back to the court and close the door.
Wow.
So he just went out of the court, freedom at last, and then he was pushed back into the court. Then they brought the FPU.
I see.
And
before I let you go, I mean, how does coup, the word coup d'etat, or the phrase coup d'etat, sounds in the ears of the youth, or yes, our young ones today?
Well, I would say the young ones today wants to experience things that they've not experienced before. So automatically, to them, they feel these things are...
It's an inspiration.
It's inspiration. So let's see how it goes in Ghana. Let's see how Ghana will look like if we should have one.
Yeah.
But this thing is something that is not so good. Even the judge, Dennis Mensah, told the court that no, coup should not be an option.
An option today.
Even if you are not in support of a government policy, just look at a way of using the law to challenge the government's decision. So Dennis Mensah said that, and I think the youth should forget about coup. I just don't want to experience it.
Right, you don't want to experience
I don't
it.
want to.
Neither do I. So we are using other means of, discussing what is going on in the economy. If we don't like it, let's see how we can help solve it. And so on that note, Elvis, thank you for taking us through the journey of Vomawo. It's a new page that's been opened because he's been granted bail today with 2 sureties, and let's look forward to him actually providing fulfilling those demands of the courts, and then he can be very free and pursue the case later, I guess. All right. So you're still watching Good Afternoon Ghana, and as we use other means of discussing the challenges of the economy, let's turn our attention to the petroleum sector. Duncan Amwa is Executive Secretary at the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. He's joined me via phone to discuss what we do or what we should do next as far as fuel prices is concerned or are concerned. Duncan, thank you for joining us. Good afternoon to you. Welcome to Good Afternoon Ghana.
Thanks for having me. Good afternoon to your viewers. Good afternoon.
So let me first ask you, you've seen the pumps today, right?
We're still monitoring the pumps. So far, nothing recorded yet.
When you say so far nothing recorded, is that in connection with your release that was, predicting that we should be going to hitting about 10 CDs or 11 CDs today?
In connection with the numbers on the market, according to the Association Oil Marketing Companies, we do get briefings, at the start of every window, and they would want us not to go out there saying A when the situation is actually B. So they give you all the briefings. The numbers pertaining as far as the BDC figures and the OMC figures are concerned, we are yet to witness any increases so far at the pumps as of this time.
So what's going wrong? Does that mean that, in fact, yesterday I was having discussion with some friends and we're thinking, well, by now the government is working assiduously to make sure that these predictions actually don't happen today as we were pushing for or we're expecting. Is that possible?
I do have some understanding that a section of government is working, like you indicated, to mitigate the harsh realities that the pumps look like presenting to us in the next few hours. That has not been concretized yet, and so give or take, you should expect that your prices would definitely be adjusted probably by close of day, early tomorrow, whatever it is. We haven't heard much of a concrete step from government yet, except to hear that the Deputy Energy Minister indicates that the NPA has done some calculation to cabinet, and it is hoping that certain reliefs will be given Ghanaians. But as I speak with you now, nothing has concrete yet. So the numbers within the BDC fold, the numbers within the OMC fold, I'm afraid still holds as of this time and day.
So we should, if government decides that, well, it's going to do something about it, it means that your predictions wouldn't have hold, right? And that will be okay for now. It's a global situation, but we expect that government should do something about it. So should government actually, manage to pull through and hold it up a little, because it's a global challenge, as we've monitored from the other countries? Are we going to feel the impact later, if not sooner?
There's a global challenge bit, and then there's a local flavor, like you would call it. The CD depreciating simply has got nothing to do with the global challenge. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of commentators who would want to skew these things to their political whims or advantage would want to suggest, oh, it's a global thing and we can't do anything about it. The CD depreciating has got nothing to do with global challenge.
Why do you say so?
The CD is within your domain, your control. If the central bank probably decided that instead of auctioning dollars to the open market, it was going to be strategic or targeted, then you would probably have the dollars going to the segments of the economy that needs those dollars the most. Unfortunately, we just auctioned the dollars, and then, the BDCs will now have to go to the open market or black market and source for dollars. As I speak with you now, interbank rate is hovering around 8 cedis to $1. But the open market is doing about 8.5, and that you are even lucky to get. So those are local, problems. It's got nothing to do with Russia, Ukraine. It's got nothing to do with, international geopolitical factors. And
COVID.
the kind of taxes that you slap on petrol has got nothing to do with Russia and Ukraine.
Is that the impression you think government is creating? That, all the economic challenges that we're facing, the exchange rates, the fuel prices, and all other conditions, do you get the impression that government is, blaming it on all of them, on Ukraine and Russia?
I do think that government itself concedes, in part, that some of the problems are very local and is working at it. That is positive. But if you hear other commentators, the impression is created as though it's a geopolitical global situation and nothing can be done about it. Fuel prices are hinged on three, key variables. You are looking at the FOB price, that is the actual cost of the product. Now, because you can't buy the product in the local currency CD, you would have to buy in the dollar, or your supplier supplies you in the dollar currency, and expect that you pay him or her in the dollar currency when you are done selling or trading. When you are done selling, just a week or two ago, the CD was trading around 6.45, 6.5, 6.7. As we speak today, it's jumped to 8. So if you owed somebody $1 million a month ago, and you needed 6.5 million Ghana cedis to offset that $1 million, what you would need today is about 8 million Ghana cedis to offset the same $1 million liability. And that is major to what fuel prices are looking like at the pumps currently. Let no one deceive that this is global, there's no solution. Solutions are there. The businesses have been talking. The OMCs have been talking. Civil society actors have been talking. Nothing has been done. So if they need a solution, I'm sure they have enough of memos from all of us that they need to go through to fix something. But nothing as yet, except the indication we got from the Deputy Energy Minister that something is being done, and possibly it would be able to mitigate, the harsh prices that we are expecting by close of today. But As I speak with you now, we haven't any communication that indicates something concrete has been decided upon.
Duncan, if you can give me a little education in this area. We have said that government benefits from windfall when the export prices actually go up. I mean, when fuel goes up on the international market. And then when export prices also go up, government benefits from the ad valorem tax. Why do we still struggle if we're benefiting from ad valorem tax and windfall, and we still can't do that calculation to mitigate the impact of it from the consumer or for the consumer? Why can't we do that?
In fact, let me help you with a breaking story.
Thank you.
Total Petroleum has gone up to 10 cedi 80 pesos for Excellium diesel, and then Excellium super they went to 9 cedi 70 pesos, and then Excellium super 95 10 cedi 52. So if you are looking for diesel currently, total is 10 cedi 80 pesos. Petrol is 9 cedi
for diesel.
Yes, for diesel. He could have done 11 cedi, easily. He could have done 11 cedi. If you look at the numbers from the Association Oil Marketing Companies, scenario computation, but the OMCs, as usual, would definitely want to play within the numbers to ensure that the public also doesn't get too much at the end of the stick. So this is what is coming in right now.
Duncan, if you can kindly do me the favor, go over it again for me.
Excellium diesel for diesel is 10 cedi 80 pesos.
Yeah.
Petrol, Excellium super, that is the regular petrol. You are doing 9 cedi 70 pesos. And then super 95, raw 95, 10 cedi 52 pesos.
What does it mean?
This is just a minute.
Duncan, what does this mean?
What it means is that you have moved from the 8 cedi 40 that they were to 10 cedi 80. That's about 2 cedi 40 peso variance or increase for diesel and petrol. What it means is 8 cedi 40. They've done about another 1 cedi. Is it 1 cedi 30 for regular petrol? That is raw 91. But if you want the raw 95, it is 10 cedi 52. So that is also gone up by about 2 cedi 11 or 12 pesos. That is what it means from what you paid yesterday.
So I wanted you to educate us on why government cannot mitigate the challenges or the impact of fuel prices or the fast rising fuel prices with its windfall and ad valorem tax.
Well, those are decisions that, government would have to make. I am holding on to a certain revenue that I wasn't expecting to get. At the beginning of the year, we didn't know Russia was going to go attacking Ukraine. And then we didn't know crude would cross the $100 mark. We didn't know that crude was even going to stay above 90 or 80. So government in 2022 budget estimate did a projection that said, okay, we're going to get about $62, $65 for our crude lifting. Fortunately, you are over-recovering from that. So there's some variable on there which is positive to your economy. Government has the option, and it probably can subsidize, the local pump prices with some of those monies, or I will hold on to the money and watch the economy get thrown out of gear by these harsh prices. So far, it looks as though government has chosen the latter. The Deputy Energy Minister gives an indication something is being done. What concretely is being done, we do not know, but of a truth, the government would still need to exercise that option of letting those excess revenue into subsidy, just like the French government has done for its people, or they want to hold on to the money and leave Ghanaians to pay for petrol at 10, 11 cities, 9 cities, then beyond. If allowances or incomes cannot take them home.
Right.
So they will go demanding for that money that government is holding. They have the option. The choices are down now to government. The numbers are reflecting. You can't run away from these realities. However harsh they be, there are decisions we need to make as a country, and we have to make them either
and items of prices of cement and other items are already, rising really fast.
Unfortunately, if you allow your fuel prices to leap or jump or go up, increase, escalate by the week, those are some of the fall-offs you would expect to have.
Right.
Every other thing that would depend on energy or petrol to move would also go up because the one moving it has gone up. You can't run away from that reality, sadly, Annie.
Duncan, thank you for the breaking news in there. Thank you for updating us on what has happened. Immediately. We will follow up and then get back to you definitely as we analyze the numbers. So Duncan Amwa is the Executive Secretary at the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, and he's been talking to us. He has already given us updates of what has happened, with the fuel prices, and we were expecting that by morning it should have moved. It didn't move, and just when we were talking to him a few minutes ago, he gave us the breaking updates that we have the numbers changing at the pump. Okay, so, well, let's look at the liters. We have our spreadsheet here. So it says COPEC on fuel prices by 16th of March 2022, and COPEC predicted these. So let's see if it's the same as given or provided by Duncan. So the products, the window 1, window 2 percentage change. So diesel. So the window 1 was selling at 8.22 Ghana cedis per liter. And then the window 2, it says that it's changing from 10.72 per liter. That's 10 Ghana cedis, 10.72 Ghana cedis per liter. So the percentage change is 30.41%. With petrol, because I think the diesel he was giving us around 10 points. So I think they are spot on. So petrol was selling at 8.22 Ghana cedis per liter. The percentage change, the percentage change is 18.25%, but the new price is 9.72 per liter. That's 72 Ghana cedis per liter. Average, the window 1, we were at 8.22 Ghana cedis per liter. The window change is 10.22 per liter. The average change is 24%. So OMC's prices then, okay, so this should be old prices because we're expecting that when we go to the pump now, it will change. Yes, so this should be old prices. So OMC prices, Zen was selling at 8.280, Shell was selling at 8.440, Goil was selling at 8.220. So yesterday I went to buy fuel and I bought it at this, at Goil. I got it at 8.220. Star Oil 7.990 and Petrosol 7.990. Old prices. If you go, it will change. Because we've just gotten the breaking story that at the pumps it has changed. Diesel is selling at 10.75 something. Petrol is about 9 point something. So that's what you expect. You should be expecting at the pump. And Duncan Amoy is telling us that if we allow, the fuel prices to shoot up that way, it's going to affect every product in the country. So we're moving to the product of cement, which is already, seeing an increase in prices, and let's see how the impact is going to, affect cement producers, and also possibility of producing clinker is one of the things that we import just to, combine and have a complete cement production. We'll be back shortly. You're still watching Good Afternoon Ghana. You're watching Good Afternoon Ghana here on Metro TV. So we've moved from the court to the fuel pumps. We've just spoken with Duncan Amwa, who has given us a breaking story of fuel prices now crossing the 8th, the 9th, now into the 10th mark, where you're buying, up to about 10 cedis, 11 cedis, be budgeting when you go to the pump to buy a gallon of fuel for that. Now, we also mentioned how, the prices of fuel actually affects almost everything. And one of the very sensitive areas in the industry or in the sector today is our housing industry. Cement prices have been, predicted to be hitting about 55 cedis or 60 cedis per bag. We've been joined, via phone by Samuel Amagaibo. Oh, he's on Zoom. Thank you. Amagaibo is Executive Secretary for Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, and he's via Zoom. He'll speak to us now. Mr. Samuel Amagaibo, thank you for your time, and good afternoon. Welcome to the show. So,
good afternoon also to your viewers as well.
So the price of for a 50 kilo bag of cement is expected to be increased from current 45 Ghana cedis to 55 Ghana cedis, next week, we're told. And then, our source also says that the product will be sold in Accra, however, at 60 somewhere, depending on where you buy it from. The update we're also getting is that the fuel prices have now, crossed the marks as, predicted by our OMCs and BDCs. How does that affect you?
This is a very difficult situation we all find ourselves. We have some global issues and then some local issues. But at the end of the day, any form of increment on a major component of our costs will definitely have a significant impact on what we do. And this is no mean increment at all. Since 2020, December, we've been having increments of this nature, and it has never stopped, and it keeps going up and up. And we don't seem to be doing anything about it. And this is where we find ourselves. It is not looking good for us at all.
How have you been managing since 2020 till now? We are in 2022.
We've been in touch with the manufacturers, and the things that they talk about are which they allude as the reasons for why the cement price is going up. It is something that is mind-boggling, and because it has its international implications, it's like there's not much one can do except to say that whatever can be done locally. We don't also seem to see anything on the side of government in cushioning us against this cost. All we hear is that our suppliers are talking about, increment in costs, in the operational costs, and then they just pass it onto the product. And then we are the final consumers. We buy them, we use them to produce our houses and for all the various construction projects that exist. And then at the end of the day, it's the final consumer that is suffering. There's not much we will be able to do. I mean, this is one of the reasons why sometimes people blame real estate developers of pricing their properties in dollars and all. And it is one of the means by which we cushion ourselves. So we don't actually want to price in dollars, we only index in the dollars. And that is how some of us have been able to survive it up to this point. But when it is as a result of international prices going up, the dollar cannot save that one. And so there will be some marginal adjustment to take care of that. Unless the company looks at his books and sees his operations and there are other places that they can squeeze, then in that case, they may absorb it, or the full impact will be managed such that not everything will pass on to the consumer. That is what we've been doing until now.
We know that you're requesting for government to, consider taxes and remove some of them from your products. I mean, how feasible do you think that is, considering the current situation that we find ourselves in as a country, where government is looking at every sector to at least generate some revenue from?
I think there is a possibility. if businesses don't survive and they are hit by some of these problems and we don't do anything about it, what will happen is that these businesses will rather collapse. And if they collapse, then the government cannot even get the taxes at all. So it is important we look at it from this angle and assist business stay afloat and survive within this turbulence so that they can come back strong and will be able to contribute to taxes. So what we were saying about taxes, for example, as of 2020, when this price escalation started, was that there is some component of the taxes that are a percentage based on the price. So we are saying if there's a component that says 10% of tax is charged onto the product and the product is costing, say, 100 cedis, because this product is now costing 150 or 100, it goes to tax component. So can government look at this as at 2020, December, and the figures that were prevailing at that time, maybe we just consider it as a flat rate for the period when we are having this turbulence, so that government also don't unnecessarily enjoy. The government is like benefiting and enjoying from the price hikes because the component of tax is also gone up. And so we think that is something that we can do within. And most countries also apply subsidies and maybe take up certain, but I think right now, if I look at our economy and the system that we are running right now, it doesn't look feasible to talk about subsidies, but the part of taxes that can be adjusted to give us some respite.
All right, so we're trying to have a discussion with Mr. Samuel Amegaibo, who is the Executive Secretary for Ghana Real Estate Development Association. That's a prediction. Mr. Amegaibo, sorry, I think I lost you for a moment. If you can take your last sentence again. You said that considering the current situation that we're in, it's almost impossible for government to consider subsidies, right?
Yes, it may with even new taxes like e-levy, the rest that is having, and we are hearing the repercussions if this e-levy, for example, is not passed. It means that government looking up to collecting taxes. So they cannot, add on to the burden of subsidizing anything. I mean, I'm just thinking aloud. But then if our managers of the economy think that they can make room for subsidies, it will be important that these things are all brought on board and applied for businesses to stay afloat so that government can be assured that we'll be able to contribute taxes. The other repercussions is that if businesses don't run, there will be job losses and all these things. It's going to go a long way to hit us very hard if we don't take steps right now.
We know that one of the elements that you import, to make our cement complete has to do with a clinker. There's been the discussion about, Ghana trying to produce its own clinker. Has it come up, and how do you go about this discussion when it comes up?
Well, fortunately, I happen to be a member, or was a member of the Cement Monitoring Committee, and I was privy and a member of the group that went on an audit of all cement factories in the country. So at least I have visited all the factories in this country, and we don't have any clinker, production plant except Diamond Cement Savannah, that is producing some clinker somewhere in the north, but the quantities that they are able to produce is very small for their own consumption, and I think even in their own consumption, it is too small, so they have to import. So within the country, there are researches going on and identifying alternative materials for the production of cement, but at this very moment, we don't have the quantities of clinker in this country that is enough to produce our demand on the market. And another cement factory that we had used to be the one for the Building and Road Research Institute, which was producing pozzolana cement. And as you may be aware, pozzolana cement is also on the markets if they are producing at all. We did not assist them to do the marketing to stay afloat for the business to expand and also contribute to the national demand. And so pozzolana is also phased out right now.
All right, kindly hold on there. In our last minutes, we have Emmanuel Cherry, Chief Executive of the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, joining us via Zoom also. Emmanuel, thank you for joining us, even though you came rather a bit late. However, let's have you in. I was just talking to Samuel Amagaibo, and I was telling him about the latest information we're receiving here is that the pumps have finally, the prices at the pumps, fuel pumps have finally moved up 10 cedis, almost 11 cedis, depending on the products that you're dealing with. So with the prediction of the cement prices, going up to 55%, 60 at some, places, how is this coming to you? Okay, so kindly unmute your mic. I think your mic is muted, so unmute it and we can hear you. Okay, great. I can hear you.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah, and let's speak to add up to what my brother Sami has said earlier. It is about time for us to look within, to use homegrown policies to solve our own problem as expected, because nothing at all. COVID-19 has taught us a very good lesson.
Mm-hmm.
In as much as COVID-19 to at least change the dynamics of what they call it, the economy of the entire world, the time has come for us to look within and see what we can do to start generating or producing things within ourselves for us to be self-sufficient. Now, coming back to the issue of price hike of fuel and products. We have discovered oil in a large quantity, in a commercial quantity, which became a celebration for the entire country. But what do we benefit from? What is our benefit from this particular discovery? It's eventually 30 to 40%. That is our benefit. What is at stake in there? As a country,